Where does a child's mind go when their mother abruptly leaves their life? What does a young child feel when their mother drops them off at school in the morning, but as they are watching for her in the long line of cars in the afternoon, their little heart dropping with each passing car as the line gets shorter and shorter as they come to the realization that mommy isn't coming? Debra Asbury started her morning like any typical morning. She laid a roast out to defrost for dinner, then woke her daughters up and got them ready for school. She used a friend's van to take her two oldest daughters to school that morning, then returned home. Her sister Teresa woke up after Debra returned home and seen that she was changing her clothes. When she asked Debra what she was doing, she told her she was getting ready to meet her boyfriend at the store not far from her home. He was also the father of 3 of Debra's daughters. She had purchased a pair of ladies' shorts from the store, but the store employee forgot to remove the ink tag from the shorts. Seems pretty simple and innocent, doesn't it? But what has been reported by the media isn't the complete truth. This is Debra's story through the eyes of strangers. Debra Jean Asbury's life wasn't an easy one. She met Andy Propst when she was a teenager, and even though the relationship was very rocky, they had 3 beautiful daughters before they separated. Then she met and married Tracy Asbury and gave birth to another beautiful baby girl. But soon after her birth, the couple separated and rumors of her being abused surfaced. During this time, Debra was charged in a shooting incident involving her husband. A family member of Debra's has stated that they were told he wanted to talk to Debra, so they took a walk through the woods to talk about things, and he shot himself, then called the police department and said Debra had shot him. The shooting happened 2 months before Debra's disappearance, and she had a pending court case on these charges. It was also reported by a popular profile of missing person cases website that Debra also had charges brought against her husband for assault in August, a month before her disappearance. Debra decided after her failed relationships, which both are rumored to have been very violent, she set out to make it on her own with her children. She rented a house for them, but after being threatened by both men, she asked her sister Teresa, who was pregnant and had a 2-year-old son, to move in with her and her children. She also asked Homer Perdue, a friend that was known by her family, to move in for protection. The relationship between the adults in the home is unclear. On September 26, 1994, Debra woke her 2 oldest daughters up and drove them to school in Homer's van. There is one witness, a neighbor, that seen Debra returning home that morning after taking the children to school, but that's actually the last time Debra was ever seen. No one seen her leave the house to walk to the store. Andy never met her at the store that morning to return the shorts. He had instructed her to call him that morning when she was ready to take the shorts back. She never called. No one seen Debra walk to the store, and the store owner stated he knew who Debra was, and she never came into the store that morning. Unfortunately, the security cameras were not working or wasn't facing the direction to capture any images that early morning. Debra did not take her purse nor keys with her that morning, even though the lock on her door was a double-sided lock and would require her to have her keys with her to lock the door when she left. The biggest piece of evidence was the pair of shorts she was taking back to the store that morning. The shorts was found inside Debra's home and was put into evidence at the Lexington Police Department. It has been stated Debra's sister's accounts of her leaving that morning has changed a few times, including the whereabouts of Homer Perdue at the time of Debra's disappearance. It has been stated that Tracy Asbury had an alibi for the day and Andy was at his mother's home. But where was Homer Perdue? The Lexington Police Department did not recognize him as a suspect and did not question him thoroughly, nor did they question the blood found in his van, which he claims was the result of a fight with someone. The person he was fighting with was questioned and they verified the fight, but it did not take place anywhere near that van. Unfortunately, since the Lexington Police Department did not take samples and documents the blood, there is no proof. Homer Purdue has since passed away, taking secrets to the grave with him. Family members have mentioned the chain of events that happened that morning, told by Debra's sister, has changed a few times over the years, but she has never been asked to take a polygraph test. What kind of police department does this kind of detective work is what I ask. Or is Debra's case just another victim of the good old boy politics? It's all in who you know, possibly? What we do know is Debra's mother and father have went to their grave not knowing what happened to their daughter. And 4 little girls grew up believing their mother just woke up one day and walked away from them. What happened to Debra that morning remains a mystery. She took her 2 daughters to school, came back home with a 2-year-old little girl and a 6-month-old baby waiting on her, only to disappear into thin air. Her sister Teresa claims she went back to sleep that morning after Debra supposedly left and did not wake up until several hours later, which sounds strange with 2 2-year-olds in the house, plus Debra's baby, who was 6 months old at the time. When Debra didn't return home, she called a few people asking if they had seen her. The next day, Teresa and another sister made a missing person report. Andy and Tracy was questioned and a minimal search was performed, but her case went cold just about as fast as her disappearance had happened. Debra's daughters never was told about the events that happened that day. They were not even told their mother was missing. It wasn't until 10 or 12 years later they found out their mother was one of the thousands of Americans that supposedly vanished without a trace. Let's look at the options that may have happened that day. The original story that was told, Andy, her boyfriend, supposedly planned to lure her away from the house by saying he would meet her at the store and help her get assistance to have the ink tag removed from the shorts at the store down the street, only to abduct her. The problem with that is the shorts were found in Debra's house after she disappeared, so why on earth would they keep telling that story? Her estranged husband picked her up and caused her harm due to the fact he was facing charges of assault in court in the nearing months, and he didn't want that to be on his record. This story has motive, but he has an alibi, plus no one actually seen her leave the house that morning. Both Propst and Debra's ex-husband have previously threatened her, and the police were summoned to Debra's house on domestic violence complaints several times in the months before her disappearance. Debra decided she wanted a fresh start in life, so she walked away, leaving her 4 girls and the life she had built for them. It's been stated by several family members and friends that she would not leave her kids behind because they were her world and she loved them very much. The story of Homer Purdue. The man no one seemed to want to investigate. The unlikely suspect? The one with unidentified blood in his van? The very man that was in love with her, but was rejected by Debra because all she wanted was a friendship. It's hard to say how much of the small town politics play a role in no one being arrested for her disappearance. But here we are, years down the road, and her children trying to build a life of their own without the most important and influential person in their life filed as a missing person in the state of North Carolina. No mom to cook holiday dinners for them. No mom to call when their babies are sick to ask for some advice. And sadly, no mom to cling to when life isn't fair. Debra's daughters deserve answers. They deserve the truth and closure. On the day Debra disappeared, she was only 26 years old. She was 5'9" and weighed 140 pounds. She had black hair and brown eyes. Debra had a birthmark on her right leg near her calf. Her ears and navel are pierced. She was wearing a white sweatshirt, blue jeans with Reebok sneakers, and several rings, including one with the word love and a black onyx stone. Someone out there knows what happened that morning and possibly knows where she is. If anyone has any information about Debra, no matter how small or unimportant it may seem to you, please call the Lexington Police Department at 336-243-3311. She still has 4 little girls waiting on her to come home. The administrators of the Missing Truth are sending Debra's daughters our prayers for justice to prevail, and they find the answers they are in so desperate need of. We bid you peace on your journey to find your mother. May peace be with you all. For further updates on Debra's case, subscribe to the Missing Truth to receive notifications. Like us and leave us a comment. We do hold comments for approval due to the nature of our stories. Like us on our Facebook page and join us in our private Facebook group. If you have a family member or a friend and feel the case needs more exposure, you can contact the Missing Truth by email or message us on our Facebook page. Always remember, some sort of truth remains in a lie. Have a good night.